Probably the first steps I ever took was walking behind a band of sheep with my dad. We were born into it. This was a gift, actually. If you think about it, being born into this, I mean, otherwise, how could you do it? Yeah, me too.
It's just in your heart. It's a heart thing.
So probably between 1890 and 1900, there was at least 500,000 sheep between Washoe County, Ormsby County, and Douglas County. Now, between those three counties, I would be it. This is it. So we went from 500,000 to 4,000 sheep. Over 100 operators, and now there's one.
There you go, that's three.
Keep those going there, Joe.
Petra.
I'm Joe.
I'm Joyce.
I'm Ted.
I'm Angie.
Pete.
And for the...
My grandfather came here in 1914 from Bittereye, which is in the French Pyrenees.
We are not Spanish, we are not French. We are Western Europeans, native Europeans, according to many people, inhabitants of the continent since prehistory. We speak a prehistoric language. The history of the Basques in the US is a 500 years history. It's very long. We have most of the Basques coming from the 1880s to the 1960s, becoming sheepherders.
Our grandfather was Raymond Borda. He came here to herd sheep. He was hired to herd sheep.
We know that he had brothers and sisters here already.
The siblings brought each other over. They probably left home knowing they would never return.
And this is called the chain phenomenon. Okay, when people from an area of Europe come to the Americas or to any other continent in a moment of history, then more people are going to follow these first pioneers, and that generated a chain of Basque people coming to the American West. And for them, this was a land of opportunity and freedom, and a land that welcomed them in a difficult time.
I enjoyed every single solitary minute being out with the sheep and with my dad. I love the smell of it, the rain and the sagebrush. I love the smell of sheep. I love to hear them out in the mountains. It was very special.
I never have a rainy day and walk out of my house and smell that sage and wet and not think of my dad, because that was him.
He was very dedicated to the sheep business. He loved the sheep business.
His brother just didn't want to do it anymore. I remember going to see him and said, he said, I can't go out there. I went out there every single day of my life with my brother, and I can't go out there now. I can't go out there without him.
When my dad died, my uncle sold the business. And it was heartbreaking for all of us to see those trucks go out with the livestock. Our dad did not want us in the sheep business. He told all of us, I do not want you in this business. There's no future.
However, Ted has a different story. He must have been listening to a different dad.
Yeah.
My two sisters and I got together and said, well, let's try to do this one more generation. And so now we're the next generation. And maybe the last, who knows, I don't know. Let's go eat. Let's go. I need a highball. It's highball time.
Yeah, good.
For you?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yes.
No, thank you. Yeah.
I'm a hard critic. So when I tell you this is pretty good, it is pretty good.
Joyce, you tried this, right?
Not yet.
Okay, make sure you get bees.
If they're bees.
Mi vida aquí es desde que amanece, estar al pendiente como desde las 6:30 de la mañana, cuando se levantan las borregas, hasta donde se vayan a pastear, ya sea por todo este cañón o todo para allá. De todos modos tengo que ir por ellas, donde estén. Igual comen alrededor de 4 horas, hacen siesta, a lo mucho otras 4 horas. Comen ya por la tarde, otro rato, ya sea otras 4 o 5 horas, y ya recopilan. Aquí es donde está la traila. Duermen normalmente pues enfrente de la traila, porque no pueden estar lejos. Pues lo normalmente pues pasar el tiempo con los perros o en el teléfono. ¿Qué opino de este trabajo? Pues más que nada es muy relajante. Hay veces que te aburres, pero de igual manera pues te acostumbras tanto al tiempo, a las ovejas, a los perros, y es como pues, te acostumbras.
And it can be a very, very boring job
Lonely.
and lonely
People
job.
have to like their own company.
You have to be connected to the animals. You have to understand the animals, and you have to feel them. You have to find people that have that, and then you have to find people that are willing to go out when it's snowing, the snow's coming down sideways, and go pick up the lambs and keep them alive, bring them in the barn, and be away from their family for weeks and months on end. And you have to be able to leave that guy out there and know that you come back next week and he's still there. How do you get people to do this job? A lot of herders came and quit. There's a lot of Basque herders that couldn't do it. So it wasn't something, it's not something that's easy. We like the fact that we have brothers. We have 2 sets of brothers here right now with me. We have a couple of fathers and sons that work for us, but it makes it nice for them. You know, they're not so lonely.
Es importante este trabajo, pero quizás sí termine. No es solo un trabajo, me vine a dar cuenta que no es solo un trabajo, ¿me entiendes? Es una cultura, tiene demasiados años haciendo esto. Pero quizás pueda terminar, no sé, por las personas no quieren salir de su casa. Muy bien, está muy bien para mí, pues me hace sentir feliz porque no solamente estoy haciendo un trabajo. Es algo, es una cultura, es como es otra vida, estoy conociendo como otra vida.
We had to start selling some land to stay in business in the 70s. So the ranch got cut in half. When you've done this, when you've walked behind the sheep all your life, you've been out here at 6 o'clock in the morning and the cool breeze in your face and the smell of sagebrush and the sheep and stuff, I mean, You can't put houses there now. You just can't, you know. How do you do that? That's not our life. We may not be doing this next year. Who knows? It's hard. It's a struggle. It's a year at a time for us. We'd like to continue it. We hope we can. But there's just no promises in this business, that's for sure.
It was a huge, super devastating wildfire for Carson City. It burnt nearly the whole west side. Very devastating for the community. Starting in 2006, we started the program as we know it today, working with the Board of Land and Sheep Company and having, thousands of sheep out on the west side grazing kind of that whole area where it had previously burned. Anything out there that they're eating is considered fuel reduction from our perspective. People love the sheep. Carson loves the sheep.
It's a win-win for us. We have a place to graze, we're helping the community that we're in, we're helping fire prevention. So to continue to do that, it's important, I think, to our family and to provide that relief to the communities for wildfires, especially, California and Nevada.
She did.
As Tedra and Dustin and Pete have said, and Joe, they will have to do a whole probably different way of it than we are even right now.
I don't know, you have to do something with your life, right? You got to stand for something when it's all over. You have to look back and say you did something. So you could sell everything and just have a bunch of money, and then what are you going to do? So, ranching and the sheep was a good place for me my whole life, so it was something I wanted to hold on to. Our mother and father never wanted us to live their life. They want us to live our lives. So we chose where we are today. But we don't do anything the same as our mother and father did. It's a different time. And if Pete runs the sheep and Joe runs the sheep, they won't do it the same as we do it. It'll be different again. But it's not about the sheep business. It's about our love for our mother and father, and it's about our love for our family, our uncles, our aunts, our nieces, our nephews, our sisters, our brothers. That's really what it's about. And it's our way to keep that story alive.